On error, resume next. On error, go to 0. On error, resume next. On error, go to 0. The difference between these two statements, that is what I will explain in this tutorial video. I will also give hands-on example about the use of these two statements in the script. That is what I will be explaining in this tutorial video. So before going to the explanation about on error resume next and on error go to 0, I need to explain one script and I need to show the error. Then I will be able to tell how we can use those two statements to handle the error. So this is the script that I have created earlier. I will be explain this script very high level first. So this line will be closing any open Internet Explorer browser. So this is one Internet Explorer browser which is open. So when this line of the script executes, a script will close this window and the browser. Second step, when the step number 2 executes, a script will open Internet Explorer and navigate to the Google homepage. This is what I'm doing manually right now. Later I will ask a script to do that. So a script will navigate here, open Internet Explorer browser and navigate here when this line number 2 executes. And then a script will pause 3 seconds. Then a script will enter my name in the edit box. Script will enter my name in the edit box when this line number 4 executes. So it will write here in the Shahajada Imran. That is what it will write here when the line number 4 executes. When the line number 6 executes, when the line number 6 executes, a error message right now if I click on line number 6, it will click here on this Google search button. This object is this object. If I show in the object repository also, this object. So when line number 6 executes, a script will click here. So I'm clicking manually and this page comes. Now when line number 8 to line number 11, this is a logical statement. If this object is still present, right now it is not present. The moment I clicked here, this application navigated to the next page. But if this object is still present, then a script will highlight first. A script will highlight this object first and then it will click again. So it will be the second time click. First time a script clicked at line number 6, second time a script clicked at line number 10. And then if there is any error, a script will print. So if error is a utility object where error information are usually stored, so a script will print the error number, error description and error source. These are the information a script will print. So that is what the script will do. But if when a script clicks on this button, if there is an error comes, a script will show a error message instead of navigating to the next page, right now if I click here, script navigates to the next page. If there is a pop-up window, then script will not be able to navigate to the next page. I'm doing one more time manually. Right now, because of this window, I cannot navigate anywhere, so I will be running the script, so a script will do those things. What I have said manually once, a script will do the same thing. It will close if any open Internet Explorer browser, then launch a new browser and navigate to the Google homepage, enter my name, click on the Google search button, and if this button is still present after clicking, it will highlight again and it will click for the second time and then print the errors. That is the script will do if there is no error. If there is error, a script will throw error message. So that is what we will be seeing. We will see. Right now I'm running it. So a script launch, enter my name. So what happened now? A script, the moment at line number 6, when a script clicked on this button, a script learned that there is a runtime error and the error name is object is disabled. That is the name of the error. So I write down the error. I write down the error name. Object is disabled. That is the error. That is the error. Object is disabled. Object is disabled. That is what the error. So now script got stuck. Script display error message and it's not moving forward. Now I have to manually handle. I have to manually click on OK and script execution will end. I'm clicking on OK. I clicked on OK. Script execution ends or ended. So if I right now if I click manually also on line number 6, I'm clicking Google search button. This is what the line number 6 does. Line number 6 does, it clicks on the Google search button. Earlier when I clicked, it navigated to the next page. This time I'm clicking, this got shaked, this pop-up window got shaked. It indicates that there is a runtime error. We cannot process, the application cannot process to the next page until this pop-up window is taken care of. I'm clicking again, manually I'm doing right now. I clicked here and this got shaked and application did not, the Google website did not navigate it to the next page. But if I close this pop-up window and then I click, it will navigate to the next page. It did. It navigated to the next page. So we know the error, we know the script. Now I will be going to the statement. On error resume next. This is the first point. On error resume next is a statement that ignores the runtime error and processes to the next step. So when a script knew there is a runtime error at the line number 6. So and when earlier when I ran the script displays a pop-up message saying object is disabled. We learned the error name and I wrote here in the earlier script execution. Now it says a script will ignore that error message. That means a script will not display that error message. The script will process to the next step. What is the next step? Next step is line number 8. So script will see if this object is still present, then it will highlight, then script will click for the second time, then it will print the error number. What is the number of the runtime error? What is the description of the runtime error? Description is object is disabled. That is what I have written here. This is the description of the object. Object is disabled. So it will print that description. It will also print source, whether it is, what is the source, VBScript source or UFT source or error source. What is the source? So these are the information script will print. So I'm going back to the statement again. On error resume next is a statement that ignores the runtime error. So it will ignore this error and process to the next step. So now I will be running. I will be writing on error resume next. On error resume next. Even though the runtime error is present, but a script will ignore that, and a script will execute these statements. Remaining, it will execute the next step. Let me do that. Let me run it. So when I run, a script will do the same thing. It will close Internet Explorer browser, open the Internet Explorer browser again freshly, navigate it to the Google homepage. It will write my name, click on search button, then script will know there is a runtime error, but script will ignore, because I have written on error resume next. So script will ignore that runtime error. Then script will process to the next step, which is the line number 9 now, and it will check if the object is still present. Then it will highlight again and print again, click again for the second time. This is where it clicked for the first time, this is where it will be clicking for the second time, and then it will print the error number, description, error description, and the error source. So let me run it. So this time it did not display the error message. It ignored the error message and it printed the error information. The error's description is object is disabled. Error source is error, and the error's reference number is this one. So that is what the use of on error resume next. So I have explained, I have given the hands-on example of the use of this on error resume next, or I have given hands-on example of this sentence. So I will be marking this as green. That means I have explained hands-on. And if it is on error go to 0, if I write on error go to 0, then it will execute the default test setting. If I write on error go to 0, then it will execute the default test setting. So that is what I will be explaining. If I write in the beginning, if I write on error go to 0 statement, so then it will execute the default test run settings. So on error go to 0 is a statement that executes the default test run setting. That is what I will be explaining now, or I will give hands-on example. So we know that on error go to 0 does one thing, that is ignore the runtime error and process to the next step. But on error go to 0 will execute the default test run setting. So what is the default test run setting? That I have to see, I have to check what is the default test run setting, because default test run setting has variety. So let me check file, settings, run, and when error occur during run session. So when error occur during run session, and it has several values. If I click here, I will see a list displayed here. It has several values. Right now the default test run setting is pop-up message box. That means this is the what is the default test run setting? Pop-up message box. So at this time, default test run setting, default test run setting is, and let me check again, pop-up message box. Pop-up message box. This is the default test run setting. That means a script will display a pop-up message box. So the rules is on error go to 0 executes the default test run setting, and at this moment the default test run setting is pop-up message box. So if I run the script, if I write on error I was saying that on error go to 0 a statement will execute the default test run setting, and the default test run setting is pop-up message box. So if I run the script, first I will be writing on error go to 0, and if I run the script will display a pop-up message box at the step where the runtime error occurred, and the runtime error occurred at the step number 7. So a script will display a pop-up message when the script executes the step number 7. On error go to 0. Now I will be running it. And a script did that. A script displayed a pop-up message box. Object is disabled. The test run cannot continue due to an unrecoverable error, and object is disabled. The moment I will click on OK, the script execution will end. So I'm clicking OK. I clicked on OK, script execution ended. So a script could not run beyond the line number 7. A script ran from line number 1 to line number 7. At 7, when a script clicked on this button, script learned there is a runtime error, and a script displayed in a pop-up message box and did not run any of the below because I clicked on OK to the pop-up message box, and script execution ended. So that is one scenario that so on error go to 0 statement executes the default test run setting, and the test run setting has 4 different varieties or combinations. So I have gave hands-on example for pop-up message box. I will be changing to the second one. Files, settings, run. When error occurred during run session, I will change the value to process to the next action iteration. Process to next action iteration. So process to next action iteration. This is the default value now. Process to next action iteration. Process to next action iteration. I'm clicking on apply. So this becomes the default test run settings. I'm clicking on OK, and the rules is on error go to 0 statement will execute the default test run setting, and at this moment the default test run setting is process to next action iteration. So in this test there is only one action, and this action has one local datasheet, and the local datasheet has no values. So there will be one, there is no next iteration. Process to the next action iteration, but there is no next action iteration. There is only since there is no data, there is only one iteration. There is no next iteration. So I will be adding value so that there will be at least 2 iterations. Then the next second iteration would be the next iteration of the first iteration. So I will be writing here, let's say I write rows, this the value, and I will write pen. So these are the 2 values I have written. Since the local data sheet, or the sheet whose name is action 1, has two rows has data, that means there will be 2 iterations, iteration 1 and iteration 2. And I also give the column name. I will say name. This is the name of the A column's name. So I'm clicking on OK, so name got changed. So now this test has one action. Action has one local datasheet. Local datasheet has 2 rows. So this action 1 will run 2 times. First time for this row, second time for this row. So I will be printing, let's say I will print here, I will print this data, print so it should print for the first iteration it should print rows, on the second iteration it should print pen. I hope there is no typical error. So now what it will do, since now previously there was no iteration 2, local iteration 2, now I have made some changes, so there will be 2 iterations, iteration 1 and iteration 2, and iteration 2 is the next iteration of iteration 1. And if I run the script, and now again I'm going back to the formula. It says on error go to 0, execute the default test run setting, and the default test run setting is process to next action iteration. So these actions next iteration is iteration number 2. When this iterations row number 1, or this is one iteration, when script action 1 runs first time, it takes first row's data, that is one iteration. When script runs second time, it takes second row's data, that is second iteration. So now what it will do, it will do the same thing. It will close Internet Explorer browser which is open and launch a new one, go to the Google home page, and then it will print rows on the output pen here, and then it will enter my name in the AUT, and then it will click After clicking, it is not going to display pop-up message box this time, because the default value is not pop-up message box. Default value is process to next action iteration. Therefore, after clicking, instead of displaying pop-up message box, it will exit from this action iteration and go to the next iteration. That means it will run for the second time. Second time it will do the same thing again. Close Internet Explorer browser, open again, go to the Google home page, and then this time it will print pen, and then it will enter this name on the field, and it will click on the search box. And this time also, since that is the last iteration, there is no other iteration left, execution will end. If there was one more iteration, then it will process to the iteration number 3. But since there are 2 iterations only, so it will exit from the test. So test execution will end. So that is what it will do. So let me run it. It printed rows, and it's supposed to run again and print row pen for the second iteration. Instead, the test execution ended, as it feels like it has this value selected. Stop test run. Process to next action iteration. Apply. Okay. Let me run again. Even if I run again, it will be the same thing. Let me close UFT and open again and then run. It will save everything. If it doesn't let me run for the second time, so I'll be opening the script again. And earlier I forgot to update one thing, that is I have to right click here, click on action call properties, and I have to choose run on all rows. Earlier run one iteration only was selected. That's why even though in the test setting it was saying that process to the next action iteration, and also in the local data sheet there was 2 rows, but second row did not get executed because we have overwritten on the setting saying that run one iteration only. But now I am changing that setting to run on all rows. Click on OK. Save it. So this time it should do the same thing. What I have said earlier, so I'll be saying one more time. On error GoTo 0 will execute the default test run setting, and the default test run setting is process to next action iteration. And this test has one action, and that action has 2 rows. So row number 1 executes. When the error comes, it exits from iteration 1 and process to the next iteration. So I'll be running now. When the first iteration executes, it will print here rows, this value, and when the second iteration executes, it will print here pen. It printed rows. Now second iteration will be running, so it's launched again, so for the second time. This time it printed pen already, so it printed pen. So this is the second scenario, when the default value, test and setting value, is processed to the next action iteration. And I will choose the third one, settings, run. When error occurs during run session, the third value, I already gave hands-on example for these two, and the third one is stop run. And I'm clicking on apply, click on apply, so stop run. Okay. Now it is stop run. The rules is on error go to 0 will execute the default test run setting, and at this moment the default test run setting is stop run. If I check again, stop run. So even though this script supposed to run 2 times, first time script will run everything, and then second time script will run everything, but because of that because of the on error go to 0 and the default test run setting is being stop run, the moment script learns there is a runtime error, script will stop execution. It will not run anything else. It will not display pop-up message box. It will not process to the next local action iteration. Instead of these two, it will just stop the execution. The moment a script learns there is a runtime error, at that moment the script execution will stop. So it will, what it will do, it will close the Open Internet Explorer browser, so it will close this one, and then it will launch a new Internet Explorer browser, navigate it to the Google home page. It will print rows here for having this line, and then it will enter this value in here, and then it will click there, and that once the script clicks on this button, script learns that there is a runtime error and the error is object is disabled, so script will stop the execution that time. So let me run it. Script execution ended. It did not display pop-up message box. It did not go to the next local action iteration. Instead, it stopped. The moment script learned there is a runtime error. So this is the third scenario that I have given hands-on example, and the fourth scenario. Fourth scenario is process to next step. Process to next step. Apply. Process to next step. This is process to next step. So let me run here also. Process to next step. This This is the default test scenario now. So again, the formula is on your GoTo 0 statement will execute the default test run setting, and the default test run setting at this moment is processed to the next step. So when script lands, there is a runtime error at line number 9. Once script clicks on this button, Google search button, at that moment script lands, script lines or get to know that there is a runtime error and the error object is disabled, and then it will process to the next step. What is the next step? Step 11. So when step 11 executes, it will highlight and click again, and then that's it. It will try, it will and it will print whatever the value is currently present in this error object. That value will be printed, whatever the value currently present. So that is what the script will do. So once the script clicks on this button, the script will not display pop-up message box. The script will not process to the next local action iteration. The script will not stop execution. Instead of this 3, a script will process to the next step, and that is execute this line and continue running the remaining codes. So let me see what happens. And I will also override this one saying run one iteration only. Instead of running this code 2 times for 2 rows, I just want to run 1 time for 1 row. Now I will be running it. A script will click on Google search. It did, and if I go here, I will see no other value. So it did that. What it was doing, it clicked here and processed to the next step, and that's it. And the next step was, it did highlight it, but it was so quick that we couldn't notice. So let me run one more time, put some synchronization point here, saying to wait 5 seconds, wait here also 5 seconds, so there will be some time, and again see the test run setting is processed to next step. It clicked here and it processed to the next step. What it did, it clicked here, and instead of displaying pop-up message box or stopping the run, it processed to the next step, and it was existed, so it highlighted, we didn't see, and it clicked again, and then again it got the error message. It's the same error message, and then it processed to the next step. Now I can claim that I have given hands-on example for this. Second thing is, it will consider steps that are present below the statement. It will consider steps that are present below the statement. What that means? Let's say I write on, remove this, and let's say I write here on error reason and I also write here on error go to 0, on error go to 0. Then what will happen? From line number 1 to line number 4, script will think on error go to 0 is written. So if there is any runtime error in these lines, then on error go to 0 will be applied. And from line number 6 to line number 10, line number 6 to line number 10, in these 3 lines, if there is any runtime error, then on error resume next will be applied. And also if from line number 12 to the remaining, if there is any runtime error comes between these steps, then on error go to 0 will be applied. So that's what it means. So I also mark this as green, that I have explained hands-on. And on error resume next statement will store runtime error information in ERR object, but on error go to 0 statement does not store runtime error information. So on error resume next process to the next step. On error go to 0 executes the default test setting. It has 4 values. There it has 1 value that also process to the next step. Process to the next step. On error go to 0 does only one thing, that is process to the next step. On error go to 0 does 4 things, including process to the next step. So now when I use on error resume next, it processes to the next step, as well as on error, the error object informs that runtime errors information will be stored in the ERR object. But if I use on error go to 0 and select the default value process to the next step, it will process to the next step, that is true, but it will not store that runtime errors information in the ERR object. It doesn't store. So let me do this again. So now I will be writing on error resume next. On error resume next. So one error resume next, ignore the runtime error message and process to the next step, but that runtime error message information will be filled in this object, so we can print this value. Now I'm running it. I'm also deleting this one. Oh, that's fine. I'll be running it. So it printed the error information. It printed the number, this is the number. It printed description, this is the description. And it printed source, this is the source. And this one printed from this line. So it did printed error information in these 3 lines or in these 3 statements. Now if I do the same thing, process to the next step using on error go to 0, it will process to the next step, but it will not display the runtime error information. So if I use on error go to 0, clear everything, now run it, so it will not, those error information will not be displayed here. It did not display here. So I gave hands-on example for this one as well. Now if there is no runtime error, then if there is no runtime error, then neither one of these 2 statements gets executed. Means even though I use on error go to 0 or on error resume next, that will not impact if there is no runtime error. This will be this will impact on the script only if there is a runtime error. If there is no runtime error, then it has no impact on the script. And if I do not write any one of these 2, then on error go to 0 is the default value. On error go to 0 is the default value, means whatever value is selected here, that will be executed. Usually this one is selected by default. Pop-up message box is usually selected by default. So I have explained everything in this list hands-on. So this is all about today's video. Thank you.